Hello children, today I am going to give you the introduction or the formulas related to coordinate geometry module 1, or you can also call that as session 1 as it is already written on the board. Now this session will be helpful for 10th class students, for 11th class students, right? Fundamental formulas being discussed here. Alright, so anybody who is in 10th standard or who is in 11th standard, basic part he can cover and understand what is involved related to coordinate geometry. Alright, so I am sure this will be helpful to you, and make sure that when you are listening to the video, you also prepare a notes for these formulas. Right, we are going to cover this entire coordinate geometry hopefully in about 4 modules or 4 sessions, and all those 4 sessions will be helpful for class 11th, that is intermediate first year students, whereas session 1 will be helpful to 10th as well as inter first year students. The next sessions which you are going to come across will be helpful for your +1 and also +2 children. So anybody can use these sessions, and here up to you. Now you know that a plane is divided into 4 parts by an x-axis and y-axis. What is x-axis? Horizontal line of reference. What is y-axis? Vertical line of reference. And the point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis is also otherwise called as origin, represented as 0, 0. Now here, to make you understand, on equal markings I have done markings over here. This is the positive x-axis, positive y-axis, negative x-axis, negative y-axis, and always a point is referred first with respect to x, wherever quadrant, whichever quadrant you are, with respect to x, where you are. So here if I am here, I am calling it as quadrant 1. In quadrant 1, x is positive, y is positive, so any coordinate you are going to take will be of the form plus comma plus. Similarly, this is the quadrant, second quadrant. If I am here, it means x is negative, y is positive, so any coordinate will be of the form minus comma plus. If you are here in third quadrant, you refer to the x is negative, you refer to the y is negative, any coordinate will be of the form minus comma minus. Similarly, x is positive and y is negative in the fourth quadrant, so a point or a coordinate will be of the form plus comma minus. And apart from that, if I write this as 1, and how do I read, how do I make a representation? This point is called as 1, 0. What this point is called as 2, 0. This point is called as 3, 0. This point is called as 4, 0. So if you can observe why it is 1, 0, it makes a length of 1 units on x-axis but no units or 0 units on y-axis. Similarly, this makes a length of 2 units on x-axis but no advancement in y-axis or 0 units on y-axis. So this is 2, 0. And if you observe carefully, every time the y coordinate is 0. So therefore, what is that common point? The common thing is y is always 0. That happens to be the equation of x-axis. If somebody is asking you what is equation of x-axis, the equation of x-axis is y is always 0. So you should write the equation. Equation means it involves is equal to. So y is equal to 0 is the equation of x-axis. Similarly, if I write this point with respect to x, what length is made? No length is made or 0 length is made. So you say this point is 0, comma. What is the length made on y-axis? 1. So it is 0, 1. What is the length made on x-axis? 0. But length made on y-axis is 2. This is 0, 3, 0, 4. Like that it goes on and on. And what do you observe? Every time x coordinate is 0. So you will say equation of y-axis is x coordinate is 0. Equation of y-axis is x coordinate 0. Alright. Now, if I ask you any point on x-axis, you will say 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0. What do you mean? Any point is of the form, I can write a, 0 or simply x, 0. Any point on y-axis is 0, y. Any point on y-axis is what? 0, y, or you can write 0, b. Alright, so that is what you try to understand. And let us try to imagine one point over here. Let us say I have a point over here. Now how do I locate this point? You will see what is the unit length it is making on x-axis. 5 units. So you write the y coordinate as 5. And what is the length it is making on y-axis? It is 4 units. It is 5, 4. Let us say I want to write this point. Now this is making 5 on x and 5 on y. This is 5, 5. So that's how you try to locate the coordinate point, right? This is called as coordinate point. Some people will call this as x comma y, where x is also called as abscissa and y is also called as what? Ordinate. It's called as what? Ordinate, and this is called as what? Abscissa. abscissa. All right. Anyhow, so and what is the equation of any line parallel to x-axis? See, this is x-axis. Its equation is y is equal to 0. And if I draw a line like this, you know what is the point here? 0, 2. Tell me what will be the point here? The point here will be 3, 3, 2. What will be the point here be? It will be 5, 2. And if you can observe, everywhere it is 2. What is 2? Y is 2. So you will say it is equation of line parallel to x-axis is y is equal to 2. Tomorrow, if I draw a line at 4, you will say equation is what? Y is equal to 4. Means what do you understand? Y is equal to something. Equation of any line parallel to x-axis is y is equal to constant. Y is equal to constant. And what is that constant? Constant is nothing but the length of the line or the distance between the line and the x-axis. What does this constant indicate? Constant is nothing but constant is the distance between x-axis and line. All right. Similarly, if I draw a line on this two, what do you say? This point is x is equal to 2. What is the equation of y-axis? X is equal to 0. If I draw a line on this 3, you will say x is equal to 3. This was x is equal to 2. Alright, so what is the equation of any line parallel to y-axis? You will say x is equal to constant. X is equal to constant. And what is it constant? That constant here it is 2 and the constant here it is 3. What do you mean by that? So constant is the distance between, the y-axis and the line parallel. Constant is nothing but the distance between the y-axis and the line parallel. Apart from that, if I say what is the point of intersection of, I will write point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis. Point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis is 0, 0. Point of intersection of x-axis and y-axis is 0, 0. And if I ask you, what is the point of intersection of? Point of intersection of x is equal to h and y is equal to k is h, k. Always refer to what x says, always refer to what y says, is h, k. Now I want you to pause the video, take the note of this, take the pic of this, and then try to copy these points, understand and copy these points in your notes. And meanwhile, we will go for the continuation of this module or continuation of this second session once you pause and copy. Alright, so I will give you some time to copy. You may copy this and then we'll go for the next session. Yeah. Yes, I am sure you have copied. Now let us go to the next part of this session. And the next part of the session we are going to deal with is distance formula. Right? Distance formula. Distance formula. Now what is this distance formula? Right? If A is equal to x1, y1, B is equal to x2, y2, then distance AB is given by under root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Or you can write, instead of x2 minus x1, you can also write this as x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. Right? And so many distance is nothing but so many units. However, we are not interested to derive this. Maybe one more video is there where I have derived this formula, distance formula, using Pythagoras theorem. Anyhow, at this point of time, you only should know what distance formula is all about. Apart from distance formula, there are other formulas which I would like to tell you called as section formula. What is that? Section formula. Now, there are two types of section formula, right? Now, the first section formula I am going to deal is if A is equal to x1, y1 and B is equal to x2, y2, and a point P divides the join of, and point P divides the join of A and B in the ratio, M is to N, internally, m is to n internally, then coordinates of PR, P is equal to m into x2 plus n into x1 by m plus n, comma m into y2 plus n into y1 by m plus n. So this is what you have to by heart the formula. And what exactly does it mean? Let me explain to you through a figure. Now there is a point x1 y1, there is another point b x2 y2, and you have a point p in between. Let us say the point p is here, and the distance of this point to this point, if I measure and found out to be m, and distance from this to this is n, or the ratio of the distances is m is to n, in that case, if I want to find this point, you have to apply this formula. Alright, mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n, comma my2 plus ny1 by m plus n. Right? So I'm sure you have understood. I want you to pause this video and then we'll move to the next part of the session, where the second part of the section formula. This is called internally, right? I am using the word, underlying the word internally. Now what is the next part of this session? We will see what the externally formula is. Alright, you can pause the video and can copy down. Right? I'm sure you have copied the section formula, the first section formula. Let us go for the next section formula. And what is that? If A is equal to x1 y1 and B is equal to x2 y2, and point P divides the join of A and B externally in the ratio m is to n, then coordinates of P are P is equal to mx2 minus nx1 by m minus n, my2 minus ny1 by m minus n. It is A, it is B, and P is dividing externally. So let us say somewhere P is here. Now from A to P, if you measure, this distance is n, and from B to P the distance is n, or the ratio of the distances is m is to n. Then the coordinates of P are like this. Coordinates of P are mx2 minus nx1 by m minus n, comma m by 2 minus ny1 by m minus n. Alright, so if I say there is a point A 2 comma 3, and there is a point B 3 comma 2, and there is a point P x comma y, divides this in the ratio m is to n, and this m is to n result is negative. What do you mean by result negative? Say you are having minus 2 is to 3 or 2 is to minus 3. Any one of them is negative sign. Then it means that x comma y is dividing externally. It won't be mentioned anywhere that is externally. By looking at the ratio where the ratio is negative, either of x part or y part, then you will say that the point is dividing externally. And if m is to n is positive, means 2 is to 3 or 3 is to 2 or whatever it is, it's a positive ratio, then you will say that the point is dividing these 2 points internally. So please keep that in mind. And now, since you have understood the formula of internally and externally, let us try to move forward and try to understand the midpoint formula. Now what is this midpoint formula? Here there is a point A x1 y1, and there is a point B x2 y2, and there is a point exactly halfway in between. What do you mean by in between? That this distance, if it is m, then this distance is also m. Alright, then how do you find the coordinates of P? Very simple. What is the original formula? mx2 plus nx1 by m plus n, my2 plus ny1 by m plus n is the original formula you apply for internally. Alright, now here what is happening? It's a midpoint. Because it is a midpoint, the n value is equal to m value. So wherever n is there, I replace it by m. So what is going to happen? You will write m common, it is x1 plus x2 by m plus m, 2m, again I will take n common, it is y1 plus y2, m plus m, it is what? 2m. So I will cancel m and m, and therefore what you get? x1 plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. You call this form is also called as midpoint formula. How do you say? If a x1 y1 and b x2 y2 are the 2 points, then the coordinates of midpoint are x1 plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. So in fact, this formula is derived from your internally formula only. Once the concept is clear, you can by heart this. Now I want you to pause the video, copy this formula thoroughly and practice multiple times, and after that we will go for the next formula. Yeah, since you have copied the section formula and midpoint formula, there is one more intricate part which very regularly comes in the examinations, especially for 10th class and 11th class students, like the concept of trisection. Now what do you mean by concept of trisection? Before I go for trisection, let me ask you, what do you mean by bisection? Right? Bisection means dividing into two parts. No, two equal parts. If I just say two parts, it is not called as bisection. It is breaking. But if I divide into two equal parts, it is called as bisection. Dividing into two equal parts is called bisection. Let us upgrade ourselves. If I divide into three equal parts, it is called as trisection. So you may get in the examination problems based on trisection. Now what is this trisection and how to solve problems based on trisection? I will try to explain to you through this. Right? Now I'll put a heading as points of trisection. Points of trisection. What are points of trisection? Say, right, if A and B are any two points and P, Q and R are points of trisection, then what? P divides A and B in the ratio, right? Why P, Q and R? It should be only P and Q, right? We require 1 point for bisection and we require 2 points for trisection. So I will say, and P comma Q are the points of trisection. Then P divides A and B in the ratio 1:2 internally, and Q divides A and B in the ratio 2:1 internally. That's what you have to understand. Now what is this happening? See, let me explain to you again. If I have A, I have B, I want to find the points of bisection. Points of bisection is also called as midpoint, and we did this just now. And to find the point of bisection, we have a midpoint formula and 1 point is sufficient. Let us imagine, instead of dividing the line into 2 equal parts, if I divide the line into 3 equal parts. What do you mean by that? There is a point A here, there is a point B here, and this is point P, this is point Q. So first part, second part and third part, and you are dividing A and B. How? You are dividing A and B in 3 equal parts. So when you are dividing A and B in 3 equal parts, this constitutes to first part, and these two things together will be what? 2 parts. So P divides in what ratio? 1:2. If I want to find Q divides in what ratio? This is 2 parts and this is 1 part. So Q divides in the ratio 2:1. P divides in the ratio 1:2, and then you apply, taking the ratio as 1:2, apply the section formula, you will get coordinates of P. Take the ratio as 2:1, apply the section formula, then you will get the coordinates of Q. So that's how, children, you handle the section formula, and that's how you handle the points of trisection. I'm sure you are clear with the concept. You may pause the video, neatly copy, try to understand, and then let us move forward. Alright, I'll wait for you. Yeah, there are a few more formulas left for us in this session 1. Let me discuss those, like slope. Alright. The slope of the line joining points A is equal to x1 comma y1 and B is equal to x2 comma y2 is slope m is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. In some other video related to 10th class students in our YouTube channel, I have discussed this slope formula also. I have derived this slope formula also. Alright, right now, that is not important for us. We will have to just by heart this formula. Difference of y coordinates by difference of x coordinates. That is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Now let me tell you what does this slope exactly means. Alright, if there is a line making an angle of theta, with positive x-axis, and the slope of the line is denoted by m, then m is equal to tan theta. So this is also another formula for slope. Both are equal. I can just say tan theta is equal to y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. I can write that way also. I will say if m is the slope of a line which is inclined at theta, which is inclined at an angle theta with the positive x-axis. Now that is very important. Now this inclination should be with positive x-axis. Now what happens if it is not positive x-axis? Let me explain to you. If it is positive x-axis, the inclination is with positive x-axis, then slope is given by the formula m is equal to tan theta. Tan, you all know what it is, alright. Now let us say if the line is inclined at theta with negative x-axis. Now this is negative x-axis. You may ask me, sir, this is on the positive side. Even though it is on the positive side, we measure angle in this direction. So this is negative x-axis. Then what is the formula for slope? Then slope for this line, slope is equal to, m is equal to what? M is equal to, I need to consider this, right? So if this is theta, this will be 180 minus theta. M is equal to, I'll write tan 180 minus theta. So slope m is equal to, what is tan 180 minus theta? Minus tan theta. 180 minus something like in second quadrant. Tan is negative because sine and cosecant is positive. Tan 180 is even multiple. Even means tan remains tan. So tan of 180 minus theta is equal to minus tan theta. So if it makes angle with like this, then the slope is m is equal to tan theta. Now you may ask me in this way also. Let us say if your line is making a slope inclination like this, theta. If this is theta, then what is the slope, right? If this is theta, then how do you calculate? This is, right, what is this stuff? This is the total angle made with positive x-axis. It is 360 minus theta. So slope m is equal to tan of 360 minus theta. What is tan of 360 minus theta? It is minus tan theta. Alright, so m is equal to what? Minus tan theta. You may ask me, sir, if the line is inclined like this, and this makes an angle theta. If this makes an angle theta, I'm sorry, this is not 360 minus theta. This is 180 plus theta. This is 180 plus theta. And this will be 360 minus theta ki jagah pe 180 plus theta. So slope of this line will be m is equal to tan of 180 plus theta. 180 plus theta lies in third quadrant. Third quadrant tan is positive. 180 is even multiple, tan remains tan. So for this line, the slope formula is this. And if it is theta here, then you need to calculate this entire stuff. And this entire angle is 360 minus theta. Here, the slope is given by the formula tan of 360 minus theta, which is minus tan theta. So anyhow, this is just an additional part which I have discussed for 10th class and for 11th class. Only this and this is required. Alright, but the basic concept is, if theta is the inclination made by the line with positive x-axis, then the slope is tan theta. Don't simply say if theta is the angle. Angle what? Angle with respect to what? That is very important. So angle is with respect to positive x-axis, then the slope is tan theta. Otherwise, these are the respective cases which you will come across. I am sure you are able to follow. Now you may pause the video and then we'll cover a very small formula and then I will try to close our session. Right. So I am sure you understood the concept of slope. Now let us try to understand what collinear means. Collinear, right? The name itself is telling collinear. Collinear means lying on a same line. Now what is the condition for collinearity? There are many conditions for collinearity. Condition with respect to distance, alright. Condition with respect to distance. Or you may have a condition with respect to slope. Or you may have condition with respect to area of triangle. I'll explain to you this later. Now here, condition with respect to distance. For example, I draw a line. I say this is A, this is B, this is C. And if I say ABC lie on a same straight line, then I will write AB, then I'll say AB plus BC. AB plus BC is equal to AC. Alright, linearly. If I draw like this is A, this is C, this is B. Alright, then how do I explain? I will say AC plus BC. AC plus BC is equal to AB. Now, if this point C is coming here and C is here and A is in between and they are collinear, then what will you write? AC plus AB, AC plus AB is equal to BC. So, we do not know which point is lying where. Based on the position, the condition will change. But what is important is sum of two distances is equal to third one. So, this is the condition to say or point out and say that the given 3 points are collinear. What do you mean by collinear? Lying on a same line. Alright, there can be many points, instead of 3 there can be 100 points collinear. For them the condition is different. But when 3 points are given to you, how do you apply the condition and say that they are collinear? Any one of these conditions, and this is with respect to distance. Try to understand. Now if I say condition with respect to slope, I have a line here B and C. Now this is something which is related to order of the points. But here I will simply say slope of AB is equal to slope of BC. Whenever slope of AB is equal to slope of BC, always you can declare that the points are collinear. This one condition is a powerful condition and sufficient for us to say that the given points are collinear. So in 11th standard, I generally apply this formula. But when you go to 10th standard, I'll ask children to do with this formula. Alright. Now, what is the condition with respect to area of the triangle? For that, we must know the formula for area of the triangle. The formula for area of the triangle. Right now, if I say if area of triangle ABC formed is 0, area of the triangle ABC formed is 0, then you will say points are collinear. Then you will say then points A, B and C are collinear, right? Irrespective of the order of the points, the area of the triangle formed is 0. See, a very simple example, right? If I say there is a point A here, there is a point B here, there is a point C here. Now with this C, I can join and I can make a triangle. If this point C is coming down, what happens to the area of the triangle? The area of the triangle reduces. Point C still further comes down. What happens to the area of the triangle? Area of the triangle reduces. Point C still further goes down. What happens to area? Reduces. If point C merges with this line joining, there is no triangle formed, or you will say triangle formed with 0 area. Alright, so whenever the area of the triangle formed is 0, you can declare that the points are collinear. I can use this, but mostly when I deal problems in competitive examinations, I would prefer this formula. Now, in the next module or the next session, first I will deal with what is the formula related to finding the area of the triangle when coordinates are given. Alright, when sides are given, there is a different formula. When coordinates are given, how to apply the formula, we will try to see in our next module or next session. Meanwhile, I want you to take care and take care of yourself, but at the same time, I want you to work more harder. Alright, thank you, take care and bye-bye.